Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybrooke Family Farm. Today I am working inside because it's day 943 of it being dreary and rainy and cold outside. It's not actually been that long, but in my heart it feels like it. I just really want to get to work at the garden and get stuff planted. And this is Lucy. She's going to make her appearance multiple times during this video, so if you don't like cute dogs, you probably shouldn't watch this video. So I decided that I would bring you guys along while I'm painting because, well, I like to create a lot of content outside because our house is a really big fixer-upper, and if you're new to this channel, you might be like, oh my god, what kind of conditions are these people living in? It's all temporary. We've owned this house for a little over a month. It was pretty much a dream come true to be able to find a piece of property that had a home on it already that was decently livable, hideous and gross, but, structurally sound and safe to live in. That also had some land. So we were living in a camper for almost 11 months after we sold our home in town. And we were basically just waiting for this to happen for us. So that's a little bit of backstory. But so yesterday I went to film a video, which you guys may have already seen. If you haven't, you should check it out, of basically the terminology for tomato plants explained in depth. And when I went to go film it, I actually broke I had like a $3 tripod thing. It was like this big. Lucy, she's ridiculous. She sees that I have a free hand, so she thinks that it should be petting her. So I had a little small tripod thingy majig that was like $3. I got it from Menards. It was, just cheap because I was just starting out on YouTube. Still in the beginning stages, but, didn't want to spend a bunch of money if I was going to be too shy to ever make my first video. So I went to go film, and as soon as I put my phone into it, the little tripod fell into a whole bunch of pieces, and I was like, well, shoot. So that caused me to have to end up, after I went to the feed mill and did some other errands and get poster board for our son Willie, I stopped and I got a new tripod. Well, when I was checking out at the store to buy the tripod and the poster board, our drugstore carries a lot of neat stuff, the cashier was like, try to stay dry today. And I was like, well, I will. It's actively raining and really terrible out. Everybody's going to try their best. But I didn't say that. I was just like, okay, I will. She's like, hopefully all this terrible weather ends soon. I was like, yeah, I'm really thankful that, last week before all the rain started, I was able to get the entire garden tilled. And the lady was, Lucy, they don't want to see your butt. Here, you can sit right there. Sit right there, girlfriend. Sit down. You guys are just gonna have to look at her fluff. Sorry. So while I was checking out, she had said, that she had hoped that the rain would stop and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And I was like, me too. I'm really thankful that I got the whole garden tilled before it all started raining. And she's like, well, what are you gonna plant? And I'm like, nothing until it dries up. I'm just glad I got it done. That I didn't want to have to wait till the soil and the land all dried up before I could till it and then have to, then work the soil then, because I knew that the rain was coming and that it was going to be a lot of rain for quite a while. And she was like, but what are you going to plant? And I'm like, a garden. And she's like, right, but what are you planting? I was like, tomatoes, peppers, carrots, beans, a garden. And she's like, but what are you going to plant it for? And I'm like, to eat. It just seems so bizarre. And you might be thinking, oh, well, it's probably some young dummy that doesn't, understand what gardening is. No, the lady was probably in her mid to late 60s asking me this and stuff. And she's like, well, why do you plant a garden? And I'm like, to eat the food? And it seemed really weird. But, as her and I were talking a little bit, she then explained that she doesn't have to plant a garden because her neighbor plants one. He's an older gentleman, and he plants one. So she doesn't have to because she just goes over there and he gives her a bunch of free food and stuff, and that's, good enough for her. And I was like, oh, well, I plant extra to preserve, but I also plant extra so I can, sell some of it at the farmer's market that I go to. I said, I also sell bread. And she just like gave me this crossways look like I was such an anomaly and stuff. And it really took me back. And so the whole entire way home from the drugstore, I kept thinking about it and thinking about the way of, shock and surprise and everything in her voice when she was talking to me. And it wasn't like she was like shocked and impressed that I was doing this stuff. It was almost like it scared her. Like almost like made her uncomfortable about the reality of things. But also that I was young and that I was doing this. And I don't know, there was like maybe I read too far into it. I don't really know. But it seemed almost like she had like this weird sense of like despair about it. Like almost as if there was no point. Like, what is the point? Like basically the world has gone to crap. What is the point of even trying anymore? And, it just kind of irked me because of the fact that like, yeah, things are bad, but like things aren't that bad. I mean, they're going to get worse before they get better in all reality and stuff. You could keep hoping and praying that things are going to get magically better, but unless if you're actively trying to make things better, they're not going to get better. Like, our reality is very different than the reality of other people around us, simply because we've changed it. We've, seen what was going on in the world and thought, I don't see anybody changing this stuff. I don't see anybody trying to make this better. I don't see anybody trying to help us with the food shortages or, the product shortages or the anything. I don't see anybody doing anything personally for me, for my life, for my wife, for our family, for our dogs, for anything. And then we got to thinking, ain't nobody coming to help us. Ain't nobody coming to rescue us. Ain't nobody trying to do anything that actually positively impacts us. I mean, if you were somebody that, got some sort of help from, Uncle Sam or whatever, that's great. Fantastic. Good for you. I'm not jaded about any of that stuff. Everybody got, at least to my knowledge, everybody got the stimulus stuff. That's not what this is about. My thought process is nobody came and planted food for you. Nobody is helping you personally through inflation. Like, yeah, you might get some sort of governmental assistance and stuff, and that's, perfectly fine, If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. But if there's no products there on the shelves, like think back 2020, toilet paper shortage, if there's no products there, what difference does it make if you can suddenly afford it? What difference does it make if you have the money for it and it's not there? Like, yeah, Uncle Sam gave you the money for it, but what difference does it make if you have to drive an hour and a half to go get that product? Or if you have to order it online and wait for a week to come? I mean, do you have enough socks that you can wipe your bum if there's no toilet paper for, days? Those are the types of things that made us realize that we had to do something different. Like, we didn't, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that we buy in bulk. So the great toilet paper shortage of 2020 didn't affect us. But the thing is the reason that our reality is so different than everybody else's, and the reason that we don't have fear of the inflation bug and all that craziness, is because we changed our reality. Like, yeah, we're getting pinched just as much as the next guy on the crazy electric bill rates and, the skyrocketing price of fuel and different feed and stuff like that. But because we changed our reality, we still know that we're going to eat. We still know that we will always have the products that we need. It might not be the exact thing that we want, but we still have what we need. So when that lady was talking to me and stuff, it seemed almost like this was a completely hopeless situation and stuff. Like, it really took me back because it made me realize that there's a lot of people in the world right now that are looking to garden for the first time or looking to do something to help curb the rates of inflation, and they don't even know where to start. They're just starting from a place of terror that, they don't know what to do, but something's got to give, that they got to figure out some way to make things more affordable. And, honestly, we've been dirt poor our entire marriage. We've been together, Tracy and I have been together for a little over 10 years. Well, it's been like 10 and a half years. We've been like beyond destitute that entire time. And it's not from lack of trying or lack of work or anything like that. We didn't ask for help because we were prideful. That's the reality of it. We were very proud working poor. We didn't want to ask for assistance of any sort. If you've been around for long enough to hear me talking about this, I actually have a genetic joint condition that makes it very difficult for me to hold down a full-time job. All of my tendons and cartilage and ligament are basically made of inferior collagen, so it makes it so I can very easily sprain and rupture tendons and joints and ligaments and do all that fun stuff. And I already have a lot of arthritis throughout my body at 31 years old. Like, my jaw is completely shot. I have no cartilage. It is all bone on bone. So if you see that I talk funny and then I move my mouth funny, well, that's partially it, because I ain't got nothing left. But so that was part of why we were so destitute. And because of losing my ability to work and hold down a full-time job, I used to work in the medical field as a nurse's aide, and that is an extremely physically demanding job, but I absolutely loved it. I did that before I found out about my condition. So I went from that to being home all the time and barely able to hobble around and walk. So how I started figuring out ways to help our family financially was through the garden. It was through growing food, because I couldn't work, and food was expensive. Even back in 2018 and 2019, food was still expensive. And that was one way that I knew that I could contribute, was to do all of that. And from there, I've regained a lot of my health, a lot of my mobility, and a lot of my stamina. But with the rate of inflation, it doesn't make a lick of sense for me to stop doing what I'm doing. Because even when we were living in town, I was able to grow about 75% of our family's food needs for the entire year in a very small space. I was able to do that. And, it wasn't through some kind of crazy science experiment, like where you see all the little fish ponds and then the tubes and all that crazy stuff. No, I am a purist at heart. Plus, if you haven't noticed, we're poor. I ain't got the money, and I never had the money to do anything fancy like that. That's part of why we reuse so much stuff and we recycle so much, is because we have been poor, don't know how to feed the family type of poor, for a very long time. So when you live that way and the cost of everything goes up, I just got to move around the dog. She's sleeping right beside me, so I got to reposition everything just so that way I don't disturb her. But so when you live that way for a long time, and then you start noticing stuff slightly going up, it has a huge impact on your life. Now, with the way that things have just ever so slightly gone up, it would cripple us. If we did not change the reality that we lived in years ago, I'd be ridiculously thin and not even have the strength or the energy to paint this, to do anything. It isn't right what is happening, but there are surefire ways to change your reality. And the first thing that you can do to change that reality is to be the one that comes and rescues you. Look at your lifestyle and see the things that you're struggling with to make ends meet on. And if it's food, that is the easiest and cheapest thing that you can actually adjust. Buying foods that are pre-made, pre-processed, stuff that comes basically in the freezer section. If it comes in a box, you can make it at home way cheaper. Buying in bulk makes everything way cheaper. So those are some of the things that you can do. Buying a pack of seeds, you can go to the Dollar General and buy a packet of seeds that have quite a lot of seeds in them that will create quite a bunch of food for 25 cents a pack. I don't know if it's nationwide that Dollar General does this, but on Saturdays they have coupons that if you spend over $25, you get $5 off. So you could buy a massive amount of food for $20 that just takes a small amount of effort to do. And that then would greatly change your reality and start taking you into steps of being more self-reliant, being more self-sufficient, but it also makes it so that way you're a heck of a lot more frugal and you can save a heck of a lot of money doing those things. But so what I'm trying to get at with this is that even though things in the world seem really, 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 really scary, you can always count on yourself. You know, your one guarantee in life is that every day when you wake up, you're with yourself. When you go to bed, you're with yourself. You know, you may have friends now or may not have friends now. You may have family close by. You may have a relative or a spouse or somebody else that lives with you. But in reality, you will always have yourself. And if you're an adult, you've already made it this far with yourself. You're already taking care of yourself in one aspect. To add another aspect of growing some of your own food, it's really, really surprisingly simple. I know that a lot of places try to make it seem like it's rocket scientist and it's super complicated and really super hard and, you know, only an expert can do that. But honestly, if you just try it, you'll find that it's not hard. I went from being like to the point that I could hardly walk and hardly function to now, through gardening and through doing this lifestyle, it has trained my body to keep going through different things and to have a lot more stamina than I ever could have imagined possible. You know, anybody that knew me when I was still working, they would see me and be like, you're heading for a wheelchair. Like I could hardly walk, like without a serious limp and stuff. Physical therapists warned me to stop doing what I was doing and that I basically had to drastically change everything. And like, I pretty much have saved my life through changing my reality. That's how I know that this works. I know that, you know, how much abundance you can create and how much of a blessing growing your own food can be. Even if you don't eat it, like, even if it fails epically is what I'm trying to say, it still has a positive impact on you. Being out in nature and just immersing yourself in that reality, it'll do so much for your soul and for your heart, like on a you know, a spiritual level, that it'll transform every aspect of your life. Just to watch the plants and to sit down and to slow down just a little bit, it will greatly alter everything around you. It'll change your body. It'll change the way you view your food. It'll change the way that you view the world around you. It'll change how you view animals and bugs and everything. So if you want your reality to shift out of one that is very fear-based and propaganda-based of, you know, you have to do this or this is going to happen or, you know, any of that crazy crap that you see popping up in the media all the time that, you know, keeps you up at night, there's different ways to change your reality. You know, you have to look for them. Everything is personalized, you know. If you can't do one thing, there's always something else you can do. So yeah, that's it for today. I can't really go much further because of the dog being here, so I'm going to have to wake her up and she's going to be all mad and disgruntled and probably jump all over me and show her fluffiness to you guys and blind you with fluff. So if you enjoy the content that you see on this channel, please give this video a thumbs up, especially if you like seeing Lucy at them. I can't really control her, but if you guys enjoy that, I can try to get her in on some more videos if she'll stay awake for them. So my biggest thing that I want to share on this channel is to always have hope, even when things look desperately bad and extremely dark. And if you guys have any questions on different ways to change that reality or where to start or anything like that, like, I'm a real person. This is my real life. This is what I do. This is what I'm passionate about, is trying to help people. So don't be afraid to reach out, to ask questions. You can leave them in the comments section, or you can find me on Facebook and message me through there at Storybrooke Family Farm. But yeah, there's ways that we can do this. And if you can't find somebody around you that is being a light, that is trying to help you, maybe that's your purpose. Maybe your job in this lifetime is to actually be that light, to do it yourself, to pave the way. I know for me, that's what it was. I was alone and had nowhere to turn to and stuff, you know, and felt very isolated with becoming disabled at such a young age. And then with everything in the world turning to crap, like, it was scary. I was absolutely terrified. and stuff. But I've learned drastically how to change things, how to flip things, how to greatly alter my perspective of different things. And it honestly, it has saved me. And I know that because of it working for myself, that it can work for everybody else on the planet. You know, obviously you can't make somebody change that isn't willing to change. But if you're wanting to change and you need to know where to start, like, just let me know and I can do my best to help you. I am here to guide people and to help people and to try to be an inspirational light to people. And that is why I do this. So I hope that throughout all of my videos, you guys can see my heart and my passion and desire to help heal the world and to help make the world a better place. So that's it for today. So if you guys like this content, please give my videos a thumbs up to try to help me reach more people, and share it on social media if you have one or if you want to. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that way I can help further reach other people, because that's kind of the goal of everything, is just to try to be a light in the darkness. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.